Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Fatu suffered a second consecutive loss on this week's WWE SmackDown. Solo Sikoa might have played a vital role in the outcome of the triple threat match between Fatu, Carmelo Hayes, and LA Knight. Backstage, Sikoa told Fatu that he took care of Braun Strowman after costing the former Universal Champion his match against Hayes earlier in the night. The former tribal chief was seen holding Tama Tonga back and preventing him from joining Fatu at ringside for his triple threat match. Tonga has almost always accompanied Fatu for his matches, especially in Sikoa's absence. The former tag team champion's absence at ringside might have resulted in the outcome of the clash, as LA Knight picked up the win and took advantage of Fatu's work. Fatu previously discussed Solo Sikoa's win over John Cena at the Crown Jewel 2023 Premium Live event. Speaking to Muslim Malcolm in an interview, the Samoan werewolf opened up about the Sikoa-Cena showdown. He also mentioned that Cena has shared the ring with several Anoa'i family members. Fatu said, Fatu and Solo Sikoa's direction remains unclear heading into WrestleMania 41. Despite the recent tension, the two are on the same page. The tides of war within the bloodline continue to shift, and this past episode of Friday Night SmackDown may have been the most defining chapter yet. The family's internal struggle for dominance took an unexpected turn when Solo Sikoa made a massive decision. One that could have spelled disaster for Fatu, WWE's newest and most destructive force. Since joining WWE, Fatu has been an absolute wrecking machine. His unmatched agility for a man of his size, combined with his vicious, no-nonsense style, made him a dominant force upon arrival. However, despite his potential, something, or rather someone, has repeatedly kept him from securing his place at the top. That someone is none other than Solo Sikoa. On SmackDown, Solo made a decision that may have cost Fatu yet another pivotal victory, sparking even more questions about the true balance of power within the bloodline. When Fatu made his shocking WWE debut earlier this year, the landscape of the company was immediately altered. Many fans and insiders expected Fatu to align himself seamlessly with the bloodline, standing alongside Solo Sikoa as an unstoppable enforcer for the faction. Instead, what followed was a power struggle unlike anything we've seen before. With Roman Reigns absent and Solo assuming the role of self-proclaimed tribal heir, the bloodline has undergone a drastic transformation. Gone is the sense of unity that once defined the faction. Solo has recruited Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, fortifying his version of the bloodline with the same ruthless aggression that made Roman's reign legendary. And then there's Fatu, the wild card. Bringing in Fatu seemed like the ultimate insurance policy for Solo's reign, but something hasn't quite clicked. Despite his dominant performances, Fatu hasn't been winning the big matches. And as fans have begun to speculate, Solo's decisions might be the reason why. This week's SmackDown saw Fatu booked against LA Knight in the main event, a match that had all the makings of an all-out war. With WrestleMania approaching, Knight was looking to keep his momentum strong, while Fatu needed a major win to solidify himself as an undeniable force in WWE. From the opening bell, the match was an explosive display of physicality. LA Knight, ever the scrappy underdog despite his popularity, used his speed and veteran instincts to avoid Fatu's raw power. Meanwhile, Fatu showcased the sheer brutality that has made him a feared competitor, unleashing devastating Samoan drops, super kicks, and high-flying attacks that had the crowd gasping. It seemed inevitable that Fatu was on his way to his first major singles victory on SmackDown, until Solo Sikoa made a fateful decision. As the match reached its climax, LA Knight had fought his way back into contention. After countering a corner splash from Fatu, Knight set up for his signature BFT, blunt force trauma finisher. The WWE Universe could feel the momentum shifting. And that's when Solo Sikoa made his move. Out of nowhere, Solo appeared at ringside, barking orders at Jacob Fatu. His presence alone distracted Knight for a moment, giving Fatu the opening to land a thunderous superkick that nearly knocked the megastar out cold. The referee, momentarily caught up in Solo's interference, failed to see Tama Tonga slide into the ring with a steel chair. However, Fatu hesitated. Instead of using the chair to finish Knight off, Fatu seemed conflicted. He glared at Solo, almost questioning the legitimacy of the interference. Was this the way he wanted to win? Did he need the Bloodline's help to secure victory? That moment of doubt was all Knight needed. The crowd erupted as Knight dodged a wild chair swing from Tama and delivered a lightning-fast BFT on Jacob Fatu in the center of the ring. The referee turned back in time to make the 1-2-3, and just like that, Fatu suffered another massive loss. The SmackDown audience was stunned. As Knight celebrated his hard-fought victory, the real drama was unfolding in the ring. Jacob Fatu sat up slowly, seething. He locked eyes with Solo Sikoa, who stood at ringside with his arms crossed, his expression unreadable. Tama Tonga and Tonga Low stood behind Solo, waiting for a signal. The tension in the air was suffocating. Then, in a moment that sent shockwaves through the arena, Fatu shoved Tama Tonga away and got in Solo's face. The two stared each other down, the crowd buzzing with anticipation. Was this the moment Jacob Fatu finally broke away from Solo's rule? Before the situation could escalate further, Solo shook his head in disappointment and simply turned his back, leading Tama and Loa out of the ring. Fatu was left standing alone in the ring, his frustration evident. Many fans began speculating that Solo's decision to interfere might not have been a mistake. It might have been intentional. Why? Because Solo Sikoa does not want to share power. Despite bringing Jacob Fatu into the bloodline, Solo might see him as too much of a threat. Fatu's raw dominance could easily overshadow Solo's leadership, making him the true powerhouse of the faction. If Fatu starts winning too much, he could be seen as the real heir to Roman Reigns' throne. By keeping Fatu frustrated and off his game, Solo ensures that he remains the one pulling the strings. After this latest setback, Jacob Fatu is at a crossroads. Will he remain loyal to Solo Sikoa despite the obvious sabotage? Or will he finally snap and break away from the bloodline? With WrestleMania around the corner, the cracks in Solo's empire are becoming more visible. If Fatu continues to struggle under Solo's leadership, it's only a matter of time before he takes matters into his own hands. And when that happens, the bloodline might not be able to contain the chaos. For now, Solo Sikoa may think he's in control. But if SmackDown proved anything, it's that Jacob Fatu won't be held down forever.